Hey, what's up, guys? Oh my goodness. Terrible boomer moment. Where? Oh, get the chat on the screen. What am I even doing? It seems this roughshod thing. Look at my, oh my gosh, this part makes me look like I'm going bald. Oh, everything is awful. Corona Chan is causing my midlife crisis live on stream. No. I will only be from this angle from now on. How are you, chat? Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And how are you? Hi. How's it going? What a disaster. What a disaster indeed. We've got some stuff to cover tonight. It should be pretty fun. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if this stuff is fun or not. We've got a very serious legal threat looming on the horizon for me. I don't know. You know, I guess it's just, it comes with the territory, man. We're gonna have to deal with that. We've got Trump banning immigration, but not really though, bro. So that's an interesting story to talk about. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, right? Nobody knows what they're doing. That much is true and obvious. Is that nobody knows what they're doing right now. And they're our government, so that's great. But what? I've got stuff that I want to talk about, but I can't yet because it's not ripe. It's not ripe and it's not finished, so I can't jeopardize it. It's too good, too good. What is happening? Oh my goodness! I need this quarantine to end. I need it over because I need to lose all the weight on my face. If I shave, I'm going to lose 5 pounds. And that needs to happen. I'm not blue balling you. It's not done. If I did it today, it wouldn't be good. It will only be good in time. I can just smell it. I can smell the good that's coming. And you will at some point smell it too. Let me get this thing ready to go. We're gonna talk about some stuff, things and stuff. We're gonna open with this legal threat. We're gonna. Man, I have got to get some soft lights or something. I look like a vampire. It's getting warmer though. It's getting warmer out. Hold on, let me get this thing. Trying to get this thing somewhat set up here. Just terrible. It's getting warmer here in Minnesota. So hopefully I can go outside soon. What is happening? So I forgot that I made the show link today on my phone, which means that my, since I made the show link on my phone, that means that my computer was not set up to do the show. So I apologize for being completely unprepared, but I'm working on it. Okay. So I was on Brittany Venti's show earlier today. We were talking about iDubbbz. iDubbbz' girlfriend, the Simp Squad or whatever. And I have to bring up something that I don't want to spend too much time on unless it gets more and more ridiculous. But there are people commenting on my iDubbbz video like, how do you know? Wait, no, I'm stealing that from Major Kill. By the way, watch Major Kill. If you want 40k lore, I've decided this. If you're going to look for 40k lore, my other channel is not going to be good at the 40k lore thing. I'm very schizophrenic today. I don't know why. But my other channel is not going to be good at the 40k lore on the big picture thing because my brain just gets... it gets like this general gist of the story, and I start to forget details. And my last video that had some lore in it was a disaster. Freely admitted disaster. So what I'm going to do is, rather than do that with 40K stuff, what I'll do is, when I do 40K lore, it's going to be more like 40K moments. And it'll be me finding an important literary piece of thing in a 40K book that I think exemplifies something either important or cool or whatever. And that is what I will go ahead and, you know, that's what I'll probably focus on when I get around to that. I think that's a little bit more my style. Oh man, this dummy. Hold on. I gotta be careful here. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. So we're gonna have to start with this. All right. I've got to censor the first thing that I'm going to show you, because this guy, what's he do? But of course he sends me something that he would immediately say is a privacy violation or whatever. So it's a setup. It's a complete setup. But I'm going to fix that real quick, so we have no issues. So is that, did I get it? Are we done? Oh, hey, wait. All right. So that's very important. But yeah, so watch Major Kill. If you want 40K lore, that guy's got it nailed. He's brilliant. He is brilliant. Okay. So where was I? Completely schizophrenic, like I told you. I don't even remember, so we're gonna press on. We're gonna get started in just a second here. We'll do these early super chats too. I want to mention a big thank you to Brittany Venti for having me on her show today. Even though it was on D Live, she had a pretty good turnout, so I was impressed. Lots of people watching on D Live, and we talked about, oh yeah, we talked about iDubbbz' girlfriend. That's where I was going. I knew my brain would get back there. We talked about iDubbbz' girlfriend and her DMCA, and I got people in my comments like, you're just using iDubbbz' name. How do you know it was him? I don't know how to describe Anissa Joma other than that thought that's dating iDubbbz that opened an OnlyFans. But unfortunately, no, it's not even unfortunate. It's just a product of circumstance. It's not interesting if it's not iDubbbz' girlfriend. If it was just Anissa Joma, unrelated to anyone you've ever met, or single girl starts OnlyFans, well, who cares? Right? That's what makes it interesting. And if it's iDubbbz' girlfriend DMCAing the internet with longtime internet persona iDubbbz somehow at all in the mix of that, he should be out there going, hey, stop. Stop. You're not doing this. You're not making this better. Stop it. Stop now. Just listen to my experience, if nothing else. But anyway, so I've got these weird, I've got the Simp Squad out, accusing me of capitalizing on iDubbbz' name, which, okay. Do you want me to donate the $10 that I got for that video to a charity or something? What is Anissa doing? That's her entire shtick. I thought she'd like it. But anyway, so who knows? That's just a funny thing. I don't know how that's going to develop. It's actually becoming really interesting to catch you guys up if you're not following along. So they had the initial DMCA request. Then there was a subsequent DMCA request for even more things. Then when Null of the Kiwi Farms pointed out that it came from a company that's allegedly operating out of the UK, even though it's technically dissolved, probably because they didn't pay the registration fee, by a Greek national, I believe, named Konstantinos or something. Seropoulos. Is that the name? Whatever. That guy is now sending DMCAs to take down the Kiwi Farms threads that talk about what a shyster he is. And he's not even a lawyer. He's just some guy processing thought DMCAs left and right. So they DMCA'd, and let me clarify something else in case you don't know. They DMCA'd to Google to delist the links to the images. They didn't actually send a DMCA request to, for example, Kiwi Farms to take down the image, right? Kiwi Farms, who's actually hosting the content, didn't get a DMCA request requesting the takedown of the material. So it's all still up. What they did was they sent the DMCA request to all of those things to Google to delist it from search results. So it's kind of an interesting, weird thing. And that's why if you go for example, you can go to the Kiwi Farms post, you can click on the links, and I think they're all still there. Like, you can see all of them. Now, some of them had some broken hyperlinks earlier. I don't know if they've been fixed. But all the pictures are still up because the sites hosting the pictures haven't gotten takedown requests, which is really interesting. It's a strange way to do it. Yeah. But it's a very effective way to do things. And fighting it with Google's a pain. But, you know, we'll see. Google's already delisted them. They've already delisted the links. But other search engines haven't, because they didn't go to, like, you know, Bing or DuckDuckGo or whatever to get that fixed. What is happening here? Guys, I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart. Everything's a disaster. All right. So that's the thing I wanted to, like I said, thank you to Brittany Venti. It was great getting to talk to her. I've never talked to her on you know, a stream before, so that was fun. And it was a good time. What's next? I bought a grill today. I'm very excited. I'm really excited for my grill. So hopefully that'll up and this is for you, Keck, that'll up the cooking with rackets streams that happen, supposed to be every month, although I think I may have missed last month's Cooking with Ragged stream, or I'm just really late for this month. I can't remember. But so the Cooking with Ragged streams happen for channel members, Patreons, and New Project 2 people. So if you are involved with channel membership, Patreon, or New Project 2, the cooking streams are there. I'm not sure what level of channel membership it is. I don't remember which one. But if you're in the Discord, you definitely have access to it. So this is me shilling the Patreon, which I'm really bad at doing. But that's one of the perks. And I now have a grill, and it's also a smoker. And so we're going to be barbecuing, like with, you know, legitimate barbecue, as well as grilling up stuff with, you know, tons of burning wood. So that'll be fun. I had a grill at my last house, and I was gonna get a grill last summer for this house, but I never got around to it. You see, I have my range in my kitchen has a grill thing, which got me through the first year in this house. So it has, you can replace 2 of the burners with a grill. And so that got me through the 2 years here without, or the 2 years. The one summer here that I could actually grill was taken care of by that, because I didn't have an opportunity to get a good grill. And I'm glad I waited. Because I got a good one now. So I can't get a haircut. I live in Commie-stan. Minnesota is not going to open up for business because my governor is in a coalition with Stalinista the Michigan governoress, Zarina, whatever you want to call her, and Lady Hitler, and my governor's in league with her on when we get to reopen. Minnesota is... We have a very minimal presence. A very minimal presence of Corona Chan in our state. And an even minimaler presence of Corona Chan out here in the country. It's obscenely frustrating when my governor has masturbation sessions thinking about what New York and California are doing, because we're not LA or New York. We aren't. First of all, California is doing pretty darn well in general, but they still have a commie governor, so and commie mayors. But New York, of course, is ground zero again, and it's a literal disaster. But it's a different style of city, different style of living. You couldn't put a subway out here. No one rides the Minnesota light rail anyway because it's gutter trash, like pretty much every light rail system. But we're different. But our governors are like, oh, what are those little tyrants doing? And they just love it. And man, Tim Walz, that guy, whew. Put in brackets, joke that I can't say because YouTube will ban me. Joke about Tim Walz and Kim Jong-un. There you go. How's that? That should lead you to the water, but I can't force you to drink it. But gosh, I hope California opens, and then I hope, because that gives me hope that Minnesota might actually get to open. If California does it, unoriginal Tim Walz will do it too. Okay. All right, let's hit these super chats, and then we'll get into this legal threat that I got. And guys, I'm going to show you the whole conversation because I think it's important to know the whole conversation to know what I was dealing with. And you guys getting this part of the conversation will have the exact same level of knowledge about what's going on as I did when I got the message. All right? So this is perfect. You get to be me, which I'm sorry. Right out, I'm sorry for all of the stress that you just got from your kids screaming. Basement Troll Production says, thoughts on Ruby writer Miles Luna? I have never thought about Miles Luna in my life, and nor would I choose to. Called Tifa from Final Fantasy VII a prostitute based on clothing. Not a hooker. I don't think. Really? Like, what? Why does his mind go to prostitute with Tifa's outfit? There's not enough shiny pleather or whatever. He forgot Yang was based on her. I assume that's a character from Ruby. I don't know. Not to mention characters like Emerald and Carmine gave a half-assed apology. Check Twitter for pics. Well, that's a little forward of you. No, I know what Tifa looks like. I don't care what Emerald, Carmine, or Yang look like. If they look like Tifa, then I understand. Who cares? Like, I don't care what these people aren't interesting. To me. I don't know, maybe they're interesting to you. I don't find them interesting, and so therefore I don't find their ideas interesting. I just don't listen to them. Weirdo with a cello says, had my first Glenlivet. Very similar to Jameson Rider's Tears. How does it compare to other scotch? Well, depends on the scotch. Also, as Trump, we need you to stay in your home so we can change the batteries and all the pigeons. What? Okay. All right. The scotch is just a wide-ranging drink. So, Glenlivet is, I don't know, it's smooth, it's good, but it tastes just, where I don't even know what area it's from. Is that a Highland single malt? I don't know. It's nothing like an Islay Scotch, for example. Islay, or however you say it. And it's, you know, there are like 5 or 6 different regions for Scotch. So it's too broad of a question. But I think, you know, dollar for value, 12-year Glenlivet's a good mid-priced whiskey. You know, mid to low. You know, it's like $55 for a 750. That's not a bad price for Scotch. So it's a solid buy in its nice way. And if you can get your hands on a Glenlivet Nadura, those are really good. They're 3 different flavors and they're fantastic. They're more expensive and harder to find. Okay, next. Mithran Emrys says, SCOTUS with a good couple of decisions, especially regarding feelings on stare decisis. Ramos calling for unanimity in criminal convictions is awesome. Yes. I did a short video on this yesterday, and if you haven't seen it, maybe consider checking it out. Just some legal news updates. But the Supreme Court has stated that now all states are required to have a unanimous jury verdict to convict someone of a crime. Most people think that's how it works, and in most states it is. However, in Oregon, you could have a 10-2 verdict, and in Louisiana, up until recently, I think they had actually changed it, but you could have a 10-2 verdict there as well, or maybe even 9-3 in one of those states. Now, I read some article today saying that both of those states chose to do that. And you got to understand, when the nation was founded and when the states were created, it was always unanimous verdicts. Always. In fact, even going back to like 13th century England, unanimous jury verdicts were required to convict for a criminal charge. Unanimity of the jury's decision is what got rid of the reasonable doubt. So it's not like these states long held this tradition. Louisiana implemented their 10-2 jury verdicts in 1898 after the Civil War. Long after the Civil War, actually. And Oregon got theirs in like 1931, I think. Now, both of those are linked to racism. The idea was probably, and I'm surmising here, that if you got 10 white people and 1 or 2 black people on a jury, and the trial was about a black person, one black juror could acquit an otherwise guilty lesser human being, right? Like that was the idea of these states at the time. So they didn't want one person based racial acquittals. So some people would call that racist. Other people would call it checking against the system of jury nullification, potentially. Who cares? I don't know why they did it. I read an article that suggested it was that kind of makes some sense based on when they actually implemented it, but who knows? Either way, having a criminal conviction with less than the full jury is rare, and now it's a thing that can't happen in the United States, and that is good. That's a good thing. So we don't actually want you convicted if not everybody is fully convinced. So that's, and I know that means one person might make a murderer walk free. Darn. By the way, that already happens all the time. That's been happening for decades and decades and decades. And usually if one person wants the murderer to go free, might be a good reason for it. But let me just also explain this. That doesn't mean that they're innocent. It means it's a mistrial, and they can do the trial again if they're confident that they will get the jury verdict the second time. And that's not double jeopardy either. So it's not like, oh, one person said he's innocent, now he's cleared of all charges and everything goes. It's just usually if they get one person, their case wasn't good enough. They already know the case wasn't good enough to convince everybody. so that next time around, maybe it's not worth the effort, maybe it's not worth the money, maybe their case just wasn't that good to begin with. And if their case was that good, and there are cases like this where they have conclusive evidence and there's just one guy who says no, they can actually try them again and they can convict, and that's how they need to do it. Leave OJ alone? I want to hang out with OJ and talk to him. Sounds like one of the most interesting people on the planet. All right. Gelth Walker sent me an Imgur. I don't want to click on a link. What is this? This is trash. It's a skeleton dancing or something. Oh, this is in okay, this is in Skyrim. All right. And it says, see, even the skeletons are dead bored from coronavirus, Nicky boy. So here's your grift for today. By the way, pat Timmer on the head for being a good boy so far. Okay. Pat you on the head, Timmer. Squally says, toss a whiskey to your grifter, oh valley of plenty. I swear I'm putting that spit on a t-shirt. Hope Lady Rackets is not going nuts during all of this bull. Be safe. Oh, she is. She's going nuts. I feel sorry for Lady Rackets. Having to put up with me all the time. No escape. What do you do? Shenku Toner, do you watch Major Kill? I've been just binge listening. I had to do some driving today. I just binge listening to his lore videos. God, they're funny. Noir777 says, got laid off Friday during work. Oh my gosh. That sucks. Got called back Monday as essential to my company due to me being a water blaster. They're paying me double the hours I work. So have a drink for the unlucky ones that aren't working right now. Well, you got laid off for the weekend, I guess. Welcome. I'm glad things are going better for you. Driving Nick should have been arrested. Yes. RZEQDW says, in Final Fantasy VII Remake, Aerith is the actual prostitute. She hires Cloud to be her bodyguard immediately after meeting her, but offers to pay him with a date instead of money. Wow. That's top level thoughtery. Good job. Good job, Aerith. Okay. Oh, and a brief... We'll do it after this. We'll do it after the legal threat section. I want to get into the legal threat section. I'm going to talk about the Paycheck Protection Loan, because there's some updates there that are pretty interesting. So we'll talk about that in a second. And let's do this. Okay. So, this is... As you can see, I had to censor a phone number and an email address. This is a weirdo. You'll see his name when I move this snip page here, but I am not censoring the name. For now, for this first message, he will be weirdo just because I don't remember his name specifically. But I get this message out of the blue, okay? And I was on hold. What was I doing? I was making an appointment, and because everything is screwed up and no one knows how to do anything, I was the 22nd person in the queue for a company I've never been on hold for in my entire life. And what is my chair? My chair got lowered. I was so low in the frame. Never been on hold for this company in my entire life, and then I go to make an appointment. And I'm 22nd for a pickup, just for a pickup. I'm 22nd in the queue, so I had to sit on hold for like a half hour. And this guy calls me during the hold. And I saw his number and I was like, oh, okay, well, I can't answer this because I'm not going to lose my place. I'm like all the way to 11 now or something. So it says, if this is Nick, Someone I'm preparing to sue said you were his lawyer. If this is not Nick, but you work for him, please tell him to check his voicemail. He doesn't have to call me back, but I left my contact info just the same in case he'd like to reach me. Phone number and email. Thanks. Well, you're welcome, weirdo. Okay. So this is Ray Gordon Me Too. Ray Gordon Me Too is the person. At Me Too Ray. So here I am. I'm polite, right? I would have answered, but I'm on the phone. Because I can message while I'm on hold. He says, I can have my lawyer contact you when I retain one. This relates to the ED website. Now, the ED website, as funny as it would be for this guy to be suing me on behalf of an erectile dysfunction website, it's Encyclopedia Dramatica that he's talking about. Okay? So this is about Encyclopedia Dramatica. So my first question, who's my alleged client? Like which one? Which client are we talking about? You're talking about my client. And he says, you would know that. Okay. How would I know what client of mine you want to sue? I have no idea which client you want to sue of mine. You would know that. No, how would I? I'd have to look it up, and I have 500 plus pages of evidence to compile. That's not my problem. For a police report, a lawsuit, and a 4-hour video rebutting what is on that site. Guys, what's on the site? I have no idea who this guy is or what's on Encyclopedia Dramatica. But does anybody know, based on what's here, what's on the site? I mean, I'll look it up if someone's got a link, you know. Oh, and 6 equal employment opportunity EEOC complaints. Did he try to get a job at Encyclopedia Dramatica? So then it's like, okay, I'll wait to hear from whomever then, right? Oh, boy. I think there's a conflict of interest, actually. Okay. There's only one way there could be a conflict of interest at this point of my knowledge. And that would be if this guy were one of my clients trying to sue one of my other clients. That's the only way that I could conflict out with the information that I have and that he's given me. But if it's one of my clients, I can't really have a conflict unless this guy is also one of my clients. So this is a really weird statement. Very, very difficult. If you guys don't know how conflict of interest work with attorneys, if there's a conflict, like let's say I represent you in a personal injury claim and there's a confidential settlement, okay? So like you got a big check, but nobody on earth knows what that settlement is, all right? Now, one of my other clients wants to sue, and then that's it. So I know I don't talk to you again for a while or whatever, but I know you got this big settlement because I brokered the deal. Now, someone walks in off the street and they say, I want to sue this guy. Then I have to go, oh, hey, just so you know, I represented that guy. And there, you know, so that could be a conflict of interest. And then I also would have to tell, if that guy's like, I don't care about the conflict, I would have to inform the other guy and be like, hey, this guy wants to sue you through me. And he should have a problem with that because I know a secret about how much money he got that is not public, right? And that could matter a lot on litigation strategy, on damages, on stuff like that, that this other person may not have any knowledge of. So that could be a conflict of interest, and the parties would have to be informed, and they would have to consent to me representing one of the others. What I'd likely do is I just refer them to someone else. Be like, hey, I know too much about that person. I represented them in a past matter and would not be able to impartially represent and ethically represent you against them. So let me offer you a referral to someone else, and we're going to end the conversation right here. That could be a possibility. But this guy, this Ray Gordon guy is not my client. So anyway, trying to sprinkle in a little legal education along with this, I guess. So I'm like, oh, they said you were their lawyer, so your name is being thrown around. Okay, cool. Someone high up at ED, which that's a joke. You can't have someone high up at ED, right? I authenticated it already. And authenticated what? Like, what did you authenticated what? I don't even know. This guy is great because I have no idea. Like, I know when he means ED, I had seen Easy Peasy's post or ED's post or someone's post about the person threatening to sue or something. So once he said ED, I kind of knew what was going on. But I don't know who all works at ED. I don't know who he's talking about or what about ED. I don't know. So this is so I'm still in the dark at this point about who he's actually targeting. Said, I authenticated it already. This almost has to be a conflict. Do you represent Encyclopedia Dramatica or not? So I respond, I'm not sure you fully understand how lawyer conflicts work. The question mark wasn't supposed to be there, but if I put it there, I'm going to read it with the vocal raise at the end. And then this guy's immediately, I've beaten Microsoft in federal court without a lawyer. Have you? No. Never occurred to me to try. And if I went up against Microsoft in federal court, I would have a lawyer. But it sounds like a Navy SEAL meme to me. I don't know. Then he says, if any of my clients forward me service of process, I'll address it at that time. So I'm trying to exit the conversation because there's nothing I can say to this guy, really. I don't even know who he's talking about. Then he says, oh, and please place a litigation hold on everything involving your firm since January 9th, 2014. Thanks. So you're suing my firm now. Because, like, wait, you don't... Buddy, let me humbly suggest that if you are suing one of my clients, you don't get to do discovery on my client communications with my firm or my client files that I would hold. Like, that would be privileged information that would be well beyond your reach. There's no I mean, I preserve all these records anyway, but this is a little bit so you're suing my firm now. Didn't say that. I asked you to place a litigation hold on all of your firm's records and any personal records dating back to January 9th, 2014. Personal records now too. Okay. Sure. Not sure why you'd suggest my firm have a litigation hold on it and Twitter DMs aren't effective service. I have to serve it? Oh, okay. Will do. I'll wait. Actually, that's debatable. Especially if a cell phone video is on my monitor. Especially if a cell phone video is on my monitor. Now, this is interesting because I have no idea what he's talking about. Is he recording this conversation? Is that what he's saying? Very interesting. Pixel Rush says, yo, Nick, you need to get Cody in on another comic stream. He's collabing with a friend of mine on a new campaign, and he needs to shill it. Well, Cody can talk to me. We'll talk to him. Rage DMX 47 says, officially became a firearm owner over the weekend. Waiting for my firearm to ship to my FFL in 2 to 3 weeks because Corona-chan. Take my grift money for the GFM war chest rackets. Yes, I'll make several anonymous donations of $1 each in not your name. JXDBX says, you don't know what's on ED, Nick. I'm fairly sure early on in your YouTube career, ED crashed your computer with ad aids. It did! Twice in a row it happened. And I have since never gone back. I don't think. I think they fixed that, though. I think they fixed, or I heard that they fixed that. That was before I think Easy was an admin there or something. I'm not sure. It's a really weird situation, but I try to avoid Encyclopedia Dramatica because of that. In fact, I think on their YouTube channel, they still have a picture of it crashing, or a video of it crashing my computer in those first videos. And then Clysis S says, this guy has a daily news show on his YouTube channel where he spouts off a bunch of bizarre stuff. I think he actually has a mental problem, bro. I wouldn't get too deep with involving yourself with him. Oh, I'm not involved with him at all. This is all him. So wait, he has a daily news show on his YouTube channel? Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, you're on notice and I told you what they told me, thanks. Didn't mean to intrude. I'm going to have my lawyer report you to the bar. This guy went bipolar within seconds. Like these are not far apart. These are not far apart. Didn't mean to intrude. My lawyer's reporting you to the bar. Mithrin Emma says, I totally remember SCOTUS saying that service of process via DMs was okie dokie when they updated the federal rules of Civ Pro. They totally updated them in January. I don't know. There was a ruling where they got permission to serve someone via Twitter, but it was a pretty specific case. There was like an organization. Did they actually update service of process via DMs? That'd be funny. I don't know if you're trolling me now, because I think it's a matter of time before they do. But you might have to have a blue check for it. Okay. And then Synac8 says, I got a Twitch idea for you. Play Darkest Dungeon. It's hard so we can all laugh at your suffering. And you can get new characters off the workshop or change the old ones to anime girls. Okay. I have Darkest Dungeon. The only time I ever played it, I got weird, like, horrific performance issues. So I don't know what that was. I had ED levels of performance issues. Okay. Anyway, you can, by the way, I'm easy to serve. I have a registered agent who accepts service of process on my behalf. I'm going to have my lawyer report you to the bar. They won't listen to me, but I suspect they will the attorney I hire. Sure. No attorneys have ever filed bar complaints against me. What is done in the dark will be brought to the light. Dun, dun, dun. This is ominous. I don't know what this means. So then, some backstory. That was sent yesterday at 1:55 p.m. And then he immediately blocked me from messaging him. I don't know if he blocked me. I don't know what mechanism, but I was unable to respond to that message. So I went, whatever. And then just a minute, sometime between 1:55 p.m. and 2:49 p.m., I sent out the tweet saying I had a very real legal threat, right? That was the tweet. He reopens the DMs. Now notice I didn't say anything about this guy. I was just going to leave it at that. I was going to leave it at the very real legal threat and then just you know, address it on the show. Oh, some guy threatened to report me to the bar for some weird thing. That was going to be it. I had nothing else to say on the matter. But he says, so you want to put me on blast? I didn't mention your name or anything about you. But, okay. Would you like me to? Right? I suppose I should get some consent. To an audience that includes people who have incited others to threaten to kill my family, and a site that had a page mocking the suicide of Amanda Todd and whether or not to post child porn to the site. I don't know. I honestly don't know what he's talking about in this sentence. I don't know. So I guess my audience includes people who have incited others to threaten to kill his family. So my audience has somebody in it. I would suppose just my Twitter audience, because I don't think he's talking about YouTube, that has incited somebody else, or pretty far removed, to threaten to kill a member of his family. Okay. I don't know anything about that, but that's fine. And then he says, my dad's two best friends were Sidney Dickstein and Pierre Salinger. I don't know who they are either. Who's Sidney Dickstein? And Pierre Salinger. Are those lawyers? I assumed they were lawyers, but I didn't actually know. So, Sidney Dickstein. Founding partner of Dickstein Shapiro. One of Washington's largest law firms. He's dead. And Pierre Salinger. I've heard Salinger's name. The journalist? Okay. What does it mean? Who cares that these guys are your dad's friends? Let's see. Oh yeah, so my response was, homie, I don't know you or care about you. Like, what? I don't want this guy's life story. I really don't. Okay, we've got Gay and Still at Large says, finally got the transfer I wanted at work and successfully moved. More money, better opportunities, spreading some love, especially since you're definitely about to be sued into the poorhouse. F's in chats for Nick's law license. No! And Felipe Mube says, hey Nick, got late. What did you do now that have another crazy in your DMs? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to deserve this. Can you do a quick context again? Sorry, hashtag empty legal threats. No, nothing. This guy pops in, he calls my phone and he pops into my DMs saying that he's going to sue one of my clients, but he won't tell me which client. And then he says it's related to the Encyclopedia Dramatica page. So there you go. That's what I got. Yeah, and finally, James Spoon says, Nick, avoid the mental little ones. They don't reach the heights of your wildest limbo fever dreams. So then, homie, I don't know you or care about you. Definitely not. You will. Doubtful. Time will tell. Unlikely. Because again, I still am under the impression that next week, I'm not going to remember that this happened. Anyway, so here I'm polite, right? I'm gonna end the conversation. Anyway, I'll wait to talk to your attorney. Nothing I say to you is legal advice. You've already invaded my privacy. What? I don't know. I don't know what this is. Literally impossible for me to do. I don't know who this guy even is. You invaded my privacy. Not at all impossible. Well, not for you, maybe. Oh my goodness. Please get a lawyer. You're embarrassing yourself. Like, just, I'll talk to his lawyer. I don't care. We'll probably laugh it off. I'll be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's cool though. I don't mind. Oh. Check Discord DMs. Just a second. I'm gonna see if this is relevant to this. Is that who he is? Brawly, is that him? That's him. All right. Okay, allegedly, this is the person. Allegedly. I don't actually know. I'll blow up the picture a little bit. Here we go. This is allegedly him, but this is from his YouTube. So if it's the wrong YouTuber, I apologize, and Brawly will be castigated or chastised or castrated. One of the three. Here we go. There. So this is him. That's him right there. So. Oh my goodness. So that's allegedly the guy. That's allegedly the guy. I hope to never face his wrath. Okay. Whew. All right, okay. So, yeah, please get a lawyer. You're embarrassing yourself. I have 3. Wait a minute now. I don't want to do his thing. I don't want to dox him. So, I just want to point out, I can have my lawyer contact you when I retain one. Please get a lawyer. You're embarrassing yourself. I have 3. Wait. You said you don't have any. Okay. No, you're a criminal. A very stupid one with a big mouth. Dun dun dun. He's got me pegged. I'm a very stupid criminal. Not good at crime at all. Absolutely terrible. I would not recommend listening to me for crime advice. I will tell you how to not crime. How's that? I'll tell you how to not crime do, and if you already crime did, I will help you undo crime thing court via. Quantum Video says, Nick, when you're not drinking liquor, sometimes I notice you drinking pop. You Pepsi or Coke, man? So what kind of pop do you like? I prefer Diet Coke myself. I will always take a Coke over Pepsi. I will take a cherry Coke over Coke 9 times out of 10. But cream soda is my jam. I love cream soda. That sounds really gay. But we're rolling with it. I love the feeling of cream soda going into my mouth. Okay. Next, Sakaki Onsai says, My, you really seem to attract the crazies. I wonder if you have cray cradar. Seems like Wu Flu is affecting more than just normal folk. So my question is, who will be your next crazy? Watch for it next time on Rekieta Law. Oh, man. Don't worry. There's always a crazy around the corner. And then Forever 229 says Chris Sabat. Kind of looks like Sabat. Like Sabat after a bender. Oh boy. Okay. Creamy orange Fanta soda? That sounds disgusting. Oh, speaking of orange and therefore grape soda by proxy, Drexel will be on the show on Thursday. So if you guys have been waiting for a Drexel stream, and I believe I believe we may have another caller or two for the Cuck College. So I've got he actually just messaged me a little bit ago that it's looking like Thursday he'll be able to do the show. And so I now have to confirm with the phone calls that they would be willing to come on and able to do so on short notice. So, all right. Where were we? Oh, we're back over here. So then I'm responding still to his first one. I said, oh, thank God. I'll talk to them then. Good night, sweet prince. Right? Because you don't want to talk to crazy people for too long, right? I'll talk to the lawyer. The lawyer will be someone probably reasonable enough to have a conversation. So he says, check your online reviews. See, your legal advice is empowering criminals. Check my online reviews. I don't think they've changed. So this is a weird one. I expected to have like 200 one-star reviews added, but I still have the same amount of reviews that I have had before. Nothing changed on my reviews. So I'm legitimately not sure what he's saying. I could show you my reviews. Most of them are just 5-star and they don't have many words. A lot of people who are supporting the show or whatever dropped reviews. And I mean, thank you. That's helpful, I guess. But, you know, like my online reviews for my small town law firm aren't that important to me. But I know there are also a couple fake ones on there. Mindy Wheeler, Mike and Mindy Wheeler. I don't know if you guys remember Mike and Mindy Wheeler. The alleged thieves, Mike and Mindy Wheeler, formerly of Comicsgate fame, they took the time to send in several false Google reviews, and I was not able to remove all of them. They sent in several 1-star reviews. They were really mad that I had their former business partner on, who they called a thief, to come on to my show and say, hey, I didn't steal anything. In fact, they stole stuff from me. So, and I said, well, you got to make up your own minds. I don't know any of these people. That alone drove Mike and Mindy Wheeler, alleged thieves, to send a bunch of negative Google reviews to me and spam me in all sorts of places. It was weird. And then they went out and were like, Mike was posting about how rich he was being a truck driver and stuff. It's really strange. I don't know what their problem was. So, just want to... but those are the negative reviews. So one of them says something like, I trusted Nick and now I'm in jail. Don't hire him. But see, I know that that's not true because none of my clients went to jail for anything where I represented them. I was always able to negotiate a deal or get the case dismissed. It had no jail time. And that's kind of what happens when you don't represent a lot of crime. Now, one person I did represent at one hearing went to prison for 12 years. And I know the way that sounds is pretty funny, but I was negotiating or representing him. I didn't even negotiate it. I represented him in his plea hearing that was negotiated by his actual attorney. I just did the hearing because the other attorney wasn't able to make it. So and again, that guy definitely left me on good terms. And, he knew he was going to jail because, well, what he did deserved going to jail. We'll leave it at that. Ugh. But yeah, so that wasn't that. So I don't know if that's what this guy's talking about, empowering criminals or whatever. But BTL Video Production says, so Nick, I just watched one of your debate one of your debates with that Sean character, and he's a complete idiot. Trust the gov, don't trust the gov. Do what China did, but China can't be trusted. I've never been that angry at stupidity. Oh, the guy on the kill stream? Yeah, it was a good time. Joel Navarro says, hey, Nick, if you check his page on ED, he apparently has a bit of a history of filing and losing lawsuits, including the one that he filed against Microsoft for $10 billion. No, he totally won against them, bro. What are you talking about? And then Super Saiyan Serg says, hey, Nick, have you ever drank Mexican Coke? And I love you, brother. Yes. But when I'm in Mexico, I like Mexican Coke, but I like the bottled Manzanita Sol better. Manzanita Sol in Mexico from a glass bottle is just enough to almost make you forget that you're in a cartel-ridden hellhole. PG and White Knight says, this guy sounds like he crushes Cool Ranch and nacho cheese Doritos into a powder, then mixes it into his Mountain Dew and drinks it. That's good. Okay. All right. So he says, see, your legal advice is empowering criminals. So I just laugh. Because, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what a criminal defense attorney does, but it'll be fun to see your tone change. Said, I'm a criminal defense attorney, you weirdo. Which gives you prime access to criminals, and watch your mouth. Oh, there's where he did it. He told me the funny joke. Don't ever tell me the funny joke. Don't tell me what joke you found to be funniest, because I will ruin that joke. I will call you a weirdo all day long. I literally empower criminals by preserving their rights. Yeah, he's absolutely correct. And I'm happy to empower criminals by preserving their rights. I will give them the fairest shot that they can possibly get. That's my job. It's my ethical responsibility to do so. You do more than that. A lot more. Well, $20 is $20, buddy. I don't know. I don't know about you. And just so we're clear, I have no idea what he means by this. But I want to. I want to know. I want to know what more I do, because I bet it's funny. Finished off the Calumet Farms bourbon, and this is my last bit of Bareface Canadian whiskey. All right. Nick Naylor says, dude, he has a YouTube and he's half retarded. I wouldn't know. I've never watched it. Look at those hollow eyes. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, okay. So I do more than that, a lot more. I don't know what picture this is. I don't know if this is him in his youth or something. So then I respond, yeah, sounds metal, right? I do more than just empower criminals. A lot more. Wah! Be careful who you call weirdo. Weirdo. Like, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at talking to people like this guy. So that's an ethical violation. Where have I heard that before? People like you need to not practice law. I'll eagerly await my disbarment, you degenerate weirdo. Mithrin Emrys says, dude is obviously suffering from delusions of mendacity. He thinks he is smart, and he is gonna school you, Nikki. Okay. Keep running that mouth, punk. Okay, weirdo. Who am I to say no to the man? Like I said, check your online reviews. Nah. You're smart enough not to go public, at least. Don't bet on it. Whoops. I guess I failed that smart test. Oh. You'll cross a more serious line soon enough. Fun. I'm an odds maker. So, I respond, I haven't crossed any line, so it's impossible to cross a comparative line. Right? Like, if I've never crossed the line, I can't cross the more serious line. Right? Am I wrong in that? I don't know if that's true. Or if that's... I think that's correct. Like, if I don't cross one, I can't cross more of nothing. It says... This you have ties to Anonymous. Bwong. Hacking is terrorism. Hacking is terrorism. So my response is, I have ties to everyone. Oh boy. Guys, You've seen my hacking skills. You know exactly how well I can operate a computer. I'm hacking the Gibson. Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Oh. Okay. I have ties to everyone. Not like this. Widow solo attorney is so powerful. Oh, God. That was cringeworthy. Notice again, like, he's the one attributing all this stuff to me. And so, yeah, no one is as metal as I am. Oh, you can't see it. You can't see it. So I sent a follow-up message that he blocked. So I was hoping it would show up on here. It shows up on my phone. But it says, such a badass. I tried to send such a badass. But it didn't let me because he had already blocked me. Oh, God. So that's the legal threat, guys. Ray Gordon, me too, Ray. Very interesting fellow. I hope he gets the help that he needs. Maybe not the help he deserves. Wait, yeah, I think that's right. Troubled individual, I think. Now, from what I understand and learned later, I believe Easy Peasy told this guy that I am Easy's lawyer. So, you know, I mean, and I guess if he serves Easy, then we'll have to figure that out. I don't know. What? I can tell the world, and I'll tell Ray Gordon, me too. I'll tell you right now. I am not authorized to accept service of process on behalf of Mr. Easy Peasy. So you will have to serve him according to the rules of the jurisdiction in which he can be found. You cannot serve Mr. Easy Peasy through my office. We will say that much and leave it at that, good sir. But have your lawyer call me, and we'll probably sort everything out within about 5 seconds. Oh my goodness. So that's this guy. Being on the internet has its perks. It also has its hurdles. Sometimes those hurdles are short people. Okay, a couple more chats and then we'll probably move on from that. I don't know. There's not much else to say at this point. So does he have an Encyclopedia Dramatica page? Take a look at that. Ray Gordon Encyclopedia Dramatica. If this shuts down the stream, I'll be back. Oh, there he is. Ray Gordon Parker. Should we check this out? This guy's been around forever. How about we get to know Ray Gordon just a little bit? I don't see any doxing on here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any particularly sensitive material. Here we go. We'll pull this up. So Ray Gordon Parker, who likes to pretend his name is Ray Gordon, is a 50-something-year-old semi-well-known Usenet kook, troll, and YouTube user that lives off your hard-earned tax dollars in West Philadelphia. Born and raised. Hopefully, the playground is not where he spends most of his days. He is known through hundreds of usernames online, seems to have an issue sticking with one identity. Many of his older Twitter accounts are suspended due to hate speech against women. This is him looking back on himself. So that's an old mugshot? Oh, that's good. So one of Gordon's first notable acts is when he harassed a woman named Tabitha Hassel into moving in order to get away from him. This is all according to Encyclopedia Dramatica. I don't know if any of this is true, and I'm not endorsing the stuff. I'm just trying to figure out what he wants, like what his problem with ED is. Gordon has also been known to try to solicit underage gymnasts to convince them to let him coach them. He also posts fanfic that he revolves around himself torturing, raping, and killing young gymnasts. It doesn't sound healthy. Alt.seduction.fast became his favorite group soon after he discovered it. His life revolved around it ever since. Right after the Jews did World Trade Center, Gordon quickly proclaimed that there was no significant loss of life in those towers. Gordon quickly took steps to remove the post from the Google Groups archive, but the posts were saved thanks to several people reposting them all over Usenets. So on YouTube, now, oh my goodness. YouTube says, in 2010, as part of his attempt to transform himself into the next Chris Chan, Gordon got himself a state-of-the-art in 1997 video camera and uploaded some videos to his YouTube account. Prior to this, however, he hired a woman named Princess Jody to make several videos for him to post on his account that total less than 1 minute combined. The whereabouts of these videos at present are unknown, but many believe that Gordon's fapping to them while sobbing at his perma-virgin status. Wow. As of late, Gordon seems to limit his time to YouTube to posting comments where he bitches about women not effing him, complains about commercials on YouTube, whines about various MRA positions, and various comments about his stories, such as General Hospital. Oh, those are my stories? Okay. So then he says, on September 18th, 2016, the genius of the internet's the guru of getting laid despite being a herpes-riddled virgin. How did he get herpes? I don't think that one's true. The master chess player and horse bettor posted his most... He did say he was an odds maker. I do want to point that out. That corroborates him being an odds maker. Posted his most popular video yet at over 88,000 views. He admits that he lives off $867 a month in SSI and what he gets from food stamps. Oh, come on. Ray, stop. Stop, Ray. Stop this. No, Ray, go away. Stop it. On Yahoo Groups, first discovered the internet outside of Usenet when he created the Yahoo group, The Seduction Library. Group has been abandoned since 2003. 2007, he tried to create another Yahoo group called Project 5000 with the stated goal of attaining 5,000 members so that he could collect $10 from each of them. Current membership count is 78, is slightly less than the stated goal. Well, I wish him good luck on that one. That'd be good. Maybe it's like 50 grand. Good move. On Twitter, not content with being exposed as an incompetent, bumbling fool on Usenet, YouTube, and Yahoo groups, Gordon signed up for a Twitter account to demonstrate his ability to make a complete asshat out of himself in less than 140 characters. At least 7 of his socks under the names Too Smart to Fail, Horse of Wall Street, Better Off Single, Original Ray PUA, Chicks Dig Chess, Ray, they do. They do. You may think they don't be like that, but they do. Ray Gordon and Ray Gordon Parker have been suspended for harassing women. His most recent account was suspended in the early January of 2017. Not anymore. Me Too Ray is back. ED, better update it, leading to a video rant on YouTube where he complains about it while sitting in front of some dirty fans. E-lawyer. So Ray Gordon fancies himself a lawyer as evidenced by the multiple lawsuits he has filed and lost over the years. One of the most notable ones was where he tried to sue Google for $10 billion, that's 10 effing billion effing dollars. Shockingly, didn't win his $10 billion jackpot. Not to be discouraged, Gordon then filed a suit against Microsoft and Yahoo for a mere $150,000, which he won, right? According to him, he's beaten Microsoft in federal court. So I can only imagine that he won $150,000 from them. Other victims, I don't know what those are. Defendants of Gordon include the University of Pennsylvania and several thousand people named John Doe. Constantly threatens people who mock him on social media with lawsuits. And people he doesn't mock, apparently. On Encyclopedia Dramatica, December 22nd, 2011, Gordon Ray Parker discovered that someone had written an article about him and posted it to ED. In a stroke of genius, Gordon came up with the brilliant idea of creating an Encyclopedia Dramatica account and deleting all content within the article. One can only speculate as to how much Gordon cried when his brilliant plan failed. August 31st, 2012, having learned nothing from his previous attempt to take down ED, Gordon sent a DMCA takedown request to Google in an attempt to get this page taken off their search page. The fact that you are currently reading this page should tell you how successful that attempt was. And then I'm not going to go into his family life. I don't care about that. Various times he's claimed to be pro gymnastics coach, pro chess player and or chess coach, pro handicapper and odds maker. Did that in mine. Pro finance market analyzer, pro relationships advisor, pro hypnotist and hypnosis instructor, writer, best secretary in the USA, paralegal, activist against child abuse and sexual harassment, claims that gymnastics coaches are child abuser, yet still claims to be one. See above. And it turns out, of course, that the gymnast doctor, right? Larry Nassar, that guy seems to have been a horrifying perv, professional psychic, civil rights activist, journalist, software company CEO and entrepreneur, successful business owner, internet guru, sports historian, bodybuilder, Jesus Christ, skilled hypnotist, and welfare recipient. So there we go. That is getting to know your internet talking friend. So that's Ray. And again, I don't even know. Encyclopedia Dramatica, I don't trust anything on Encyclopedia Dramatica as being true. Like, it could be, it could not be. I don't know where their jokes stop and their where their serious talk begins and their jokes end. That's neither here nor there. I'm not endorsing the article, but that's apparently what he wants removed from the internet and is ready to sue Encyclopedia Dramatica and now me over, apparently. So, well, now I know. I feel like I watched an 80s cartoon all the way through to the end past the closing commercial break. How did I get on his radar? Easy peasy told him that I was his lawyer. Told this guy that I was Easy's lawyer. So, PUA is pickup artist, JT Express. Mithran Emrys says, I, Nikki Rackets, hereby affirm and attest that I am the attorney for the hackers known as 12chan and Nononymous. Dude needs a wellness check and a cycle. Maybe. He seems unwell. Siren Jag says, man, the years in the jail butt sex have not been kind. God, this guy looks like he is that Buzz Lightyear cholesterol level. It's gone to infinity and beyond. That was a little rude. I don't... So there we go. There's this guy. I kind of wanted to get back into gymnastics, so maybe he'll coach me. Be good. That'd be good. Okay. Next thing, guys, you have to stop accusing me of blue balling you, because I'm not blue balling you when I say that I'm working on something that you will enjoy very much. And I'm just excited to share the news with you. And no, it's nothing crazy. It's a show. It's just a show. A show you're familiar with. It has happened. I'm just very excited that we get to have another episode of the show at some point in the future. I can't promise how soon it'll be because I'm working on gathering the material. Okay? I'm working on gathering the material. And it almost looks like it's going to be maybe even a new season. Because this material seems to be slightly different than the other material. But it's going to take some time for me to compile this stuff. And I'm just very excited to share that with you. So, that being said, let's talk very quickly about the Paycheck Protection Program. If you're like me and your bank completely screwed you on getting your paycheck protection loan, fear not, because it looks like the Senate has passed a bill, and presumptively, if the Senate's going to bother voting on it, there's probably a semi-close House bill coming to extend the funding of the Paycheck Protection Program by another $310 billion. If you'll notice, and Wells Fargo, I can't smile enough about this. Wells Fargo is being sued for shuffling their applications. Now, paycheck protection loans were supposed to be first come, first serve. All right? Wells Fargo is now being sued by a California company that says that they shuffled the large clients to the front of the line because the large clients would have a higher fee return. Because, just so you guys know, the banks got money from this program. I think to the tune of $6 to $10 billion was given to banks. Just given to them in fees for processing the loans. they got a big payout. And all they had to do, remember, these loans are guaranteed by federal government money. So they got $0 that they're paying out at the end of the day, because it's a federally guaranteed loan. So if the employer pays it back, they get the money back. If the employer defaults or goes out of business, they get reimbursed by the government. If the employer uses it for payroll, the loan is forgiven and they get reimbursed by the government, and presumably with interest. And so with guaranteed money, if guaranteed money backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, if presumably, if every single borrower of the Paycheck Protection Program went default and no one paid a dime back, the government prints off, and they already have allocated the funds to do so. They print off and give the money to the bank, and the bank pays $0 for it. On top of that, they get 1% interest on anything that's paid back. And on top of that, they got processing fees to process the applications for the free money that they were giving out. All right. So and that is a percentage-based fee based on the number or the amount of the dollars that were lent out, with a $10 million cap. Although I think a couple companies exceeded that $10 million cap. Anyway, Wells Fargo, there's an allegation with some level of evidence suggesting that they front-loaded their big loans to make sure they were able to maximize their fee return. All right? And the smaller loans got shuffled to the back, which is illegal. That's unlawful for them to do. And it's great. If they did that, I hope they get sued into oblivion. Wells Fargo has a beautiful relationship over the past couple years with violating lending laws. And they deserve to get fisted for all they're worth for every violation of lending laws that they do. And I will never be an apologist for Wells Fargo's lending strategy. I worked there. I got to experience it. It was great. Fantastic. So I'll be following that suit along. I'm not sure if they're going to continue it, since it looks like with the new Paycheck Protection Plan, those smaller businesses that got shut out of borrowing may actually have another shot at it. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if the lawsuit gets to go forward. That being said, the next thing I saw yesterday, and I saw a bunch of people cheering it. Donald Trump has said that he will sign an executive order shutting down immigration. And a bunch of people were really happy about that. And I think this is an interesting place where presidential power is at its maximum. And he has the legal authority to do that. Let's see. That a president in a pandemic can shut down immigration. I think that Trump absolutely can do that for a reasonable amount of time. And if you'll remember, he tried to do a limited immigration shutdown before. The part of the problem with it was that it was indeed limited. It was limited to some specific countries. And by limiting it to those specific countries that were primarily Muslim populated countries, some people were able to make an argument that he was discriminating based on religion or national origin. A complete shutdown is not, it's non-discriminatory, presumptively non-discriminatory. Now you can say, well, he said there's an as-applied test where they can say, well, he says that it's from everywhere, but we're still letting Europeans in, for example. Okay, well, now you get to start making a case in a different way. But if he's actually just shutting it down. So I was like, oh, this is very interesting. And for the record, I have no position on this. I don't know if closing the borders now will help or not. I don't really care on the wisdom of the policy. And I've been this way in politics for a long time. I try not to care about the wisdom of the action when it's a legal question. I want to know, can they do this? So there were lots of Obama programs where I'm like, I either don't care about the wisdom of this or I don't like what he's doing, but he probably can do this. Okay. Same thing with this one. I don't care if Trump wants to limit immigration into the United States. I don't know if it'll be helpful or not. Doesn't bother me either way. That being said, I think he can do this. So much to my dismay, I wake up to him not doing it. Not actually doing it. Here's the news story. Trump says immigration order will apply only to green cards and will last 60 days. So we're not going to restrict work visas. We're not going to restrict student visas. We're just going to restrict new people seeking permanent residence status coming in. Well, this is where I have to question the wisdom. This is a what the hell's the point? Right? Like, look, if we can't bring people in from other countries because they're a risk, don't bring in people from other countries. Don't just keep the H-1B visas. Don't keep the student visas. Like, if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. For 60 days. Just do that. Like, just do that. So this is 60 days. Won't affect workers entering the country on a temporary basis. So only to people seeking green cards. It'll last 60 days. Spelling out details of the measure for the first time since tweeting late Monday he would temporarily suspend immigration in the United States. Trump announced something short of a full halt on immigration amid the coronavirus pandemic. Instead, he said the provision would amount to 60-day pause only on people seeking permanent residence status. The executive order is being written now. He's likely to sign it on Wednesday. He would review the order and at the end of the period decide if it should be renewed. So after 60 days, he can reinstate it. Trump suggested there will be economic effects of the order, indicating that it would protect American workers and noted that it will have certain exemptions. By pausing immigration will help put unemployed Americans first in line for jobs and the good jobs. As America reopens, as it should, it would be wrong and unjust for Americans laid off by the virus, terrible virus, many effects, to be replaced with new immigrant labor flown in from abroad. Yet he's keeping the H-1 visa, the literal immigrant labor visa is staying. So this is what bothers me about this. We must first take care of the American workers. It's like, I get it, but rings a little hollow. It just rings a little hollow to me. And again, I don't care if he bans immigration or not. I really don't. Immigration is such an interesting legal question. And when I'm not talking about like immigration policies and stuff like that generally. I'm talking about the president's ability to suspend entry into the United States is supposed to be, basically during a crisis especially, is supposed to be a plenary authority of the president. And over we've seen Congress put their nose into it. So I want to see what the president's maximum amount of power is in immigration in these times. That's my legal curiosity. Wisdom of the policy, like, I don't care. I want to know what happens if he tries it. I want to know if they sue him and win. That's what I want out of it. I'm selfish. Other people's lives being in the balance is just something that happens. BTL Video Production says, you know what? Screw it. I agree with Peacock. Gordon, no suits. You, me, pistol duel at Twitter HQ at dawn. Loser is to be deemed a cuck for life. His tombstone will have the date of his death saying, cuck, let's ye our haws. Don't ever duel on my behalf, man. Oh. So anyway, this is details on exemptions he later said might come tonight or tomorrow. An administration official with knowledge of the process told CNN the order only addresses green cards because the temporary work visa portion is more complicated and needs more time to sort out. Is it really more complicated to say for 60 days we're not going to take in new H-1Bs? Is that more complicated? For 60 days, we're not going to take in new H-1Bs. If you've already got an H-1B approved, at the end of 60 days, you know, you can come back, or there's a fast track to reapply or something. But sorry, we don't want people here because you might coof on an old lady and kill everybody. That's not that complicated. But let's keep going. Particularly given the fact that many of those currently in the U.S. on work visas are working in industries related to the pandemic. If you're currently in the U.S., just extend their... This isn't complicated. Extend the work visa of the people who are still here if they choose to stay. Especially if they're an essential worker. Similar to not importing coronavirus, we also don't want to export it to another country. So just lock it down. People want to stay, extend the visa. Who cares? From workers at food processing plants to healthcare workers. Ahead of Trump's briefing Tuesday, details of the plan were murky, and some White House aides said there wasn't a great deal of clarity on how the order would come together. He said it was still being written, to be fair. A person familiar with the matter said administration officials began working around the middle of last week on an executive order that would restrict immigration after Trump raised the matter privately with aides. Not that kind of aides. Even before Trump provided more specific details about his move, his re-election campaign and allies were already touting and defending the executive order, reflecting the political underpinnings. Everything this year is political. It's not just Trump. It's everybody. Your governors, whether they're on the left or the right, the governors that you hate, the stuff that they're doing. Like if you're in Georgia and you really want Georgia to stay locked down and you hate your governor saying that you're going to reopen Georgia, or if you're in Michigan and you really hate that your governor says you can go to Walmart but you can't shop in the auto section or whatever stupid arbitrary restriction she came up with, whichever one it is that you hate, they're all doing it for their political points this year. Of course, it's 2020. This is all political, and that's what I hate about it. The pandemic happening in an election year is the worst possible case to achieve desired results. Because it's not about fixing the pandemic. Just like Alex Jones's wife filing for a temporary restraining order on Alex Jones is not about the safety of the kids at all. It's just not. It's all politics. And I hate that. I hate that. Because here we are, right? Us schlubs out on the internet and in the mean streets of America, we're out debating coronavirus. And we're like, oh, well, you know, they need to do this. This is an effective tool. Maybe this is a good measure. Oh, they're listening to experts. No, they aren't. They aren't. They're listening to the person that's telling them what they need to do the thing they want to do for their political reasoning. And that's the problem. We're all arguing off of not enough information. All of us. Whatever we think about the wisdom of the policy isn't accurate. And it's not our fault. There's no amount of research you can do because you can't objectively search on coronavirus right now. You're going to get a media slant on whatever it is. Their biases are going to come through. Yeah, we're listening to people like Bill Gates. As if Bill Gates is an epidemiologist. Ugh. So let's see. The move, which can be largely symbolic given the restrictions on immigration already in place due to the corona pandemic, allows Trump and his campaign to play directly to his base on the issue of immigration. Stands to affect tens of thousands of people waiting to immigrate to the U.S. Wait. Largely symbolic. stands to affect tens of thousands of people waiting. Then that's not just symbolic. Approximately 459,000 foreign national new arrivals to the U.S. became green card holders in 2019. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. I'm hiccuping and yawning. Down 13% from 2018 arrivals, according to statistics. Notice that these numbers don't tell us anything about 2020. Completely useless to us. Thank you. Trump's vague announcement came as a surprise to officials who scrambled to finalize the order on Tuesday morning. There was a lot of hype, but no real change to the current practice. And then CNN has just fluffed this piece out with a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. Immigration hardliners who have urged the administration to reduce the flow of immigration to the U.S. heralded Trump's decision. So we got Roy Beck. Says, with tens of millions of Americans who want to work full-time unable to do so, most immigration at this moment makes no sense, and the president appears to be moving in the right direction to curtail it. Immigrant advocates push back. Now, Trump has cited, and I think it was in the thing, but I kind of glossed over it. He said, basically, we want American workers to be at the front of the line when the jobs start coming back. That's what he said. And to his credit, I was criticizing him on the H-1B visas, but the H-1B visas are for jobs that are not open. They're filled by an H-1B applicant. The company oftentimes will specifically have H-1Bs lined up for those jobs already. And so it's not like there's a job that's about to open that an American would otherwise get, except for this H-1 or, that an unemployed American would get. Although, I'm just saying, if you limit immigration, including limiting the H-1Bs, you do have a workforce that is likely ready to be shuffled to new jobs. And you may have skilled employees that could fill those H-1B labor positions with American jobs. So if you want to do it, they got to do something on H-1Bs. To me, if they want this to be a meaningful change, they got to do that. And by the way, I am not a nationalist or anti-immigration in any sort of way. I'm just saying if their goal is to maximize the potential for an out-of-work American to fill an American job opening, suspend H-1Bs along with the others as you reopen the economy. Do it. Most H-1B jobs that I have seen and dealt with in my years of banking, for example, they didn't require a specialized set of skills. It's computer programmers. Lots of computer programmers from India, which all super nice guys, had great conversations with them. But there are a lot of computer programmers in the US who can do the job. You don't need an H-1B to get someone who can code, right? Just find a journalist. Okay, so this is boring. So that's that. Needless to say, I am disappointed. I am very disappointed. I want the president to test the limits of his power, and this isn't doing it. Right? I want him to do that, and it would play to Trump's base already. He's not going to lose votes that he would have otherwise had because they're like, oh, man, suspending immigration across the board in a time of pandemic, that's going to do me in. That's not going to do anybody in. He's not going to lose votes. He gets to do a check on presidential power and set the rules for it in the future. Because the worst thing that happens is they sue him over it. And well after the injunction is done on travel, it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court determines whether or not the president can do something again during a pandemic next time. And we all get to learn something about what the new con law is. That's what I want to see. That's my interest. Okay, so there was one more news story I wanted to talk about. Is this the one? Oh. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this one. Oh, let me do this real quick. I should probably mention this from time to time. I know a lot of GoFundMes that we're familiar with have been shut down lately, like the Silent Sham GoFundMe, which disappeared without an update. And we'll definitely hear about T. Greg definitely donating all of that money to the Daily Tar Heel or whatever. Tar Heel Daily, maybe that's what it is. I don't remember. I've been told by a lawyer who is so brave that he had to change his Twitter profile name and get rid of his Geico looking ass picture. I'm guessing because the senior partners of his law firm were like, hey, you're retarded on Twitter. Will you knock it off? Will you knock it off? And so he changed his name and image. And it's definitely not Tyler Wolf anymore. So, but he has assured me that T. Greg won all of his fees in settlement with the SCV, and so he'll be making a $10,000 donation to the Daily Tar Heel. And I guess time will tell. Maybe he did. That'd be great. And I also know that he definitely will say that that is not what happened and that it was just his choice because he's kind of sarcastic on the internet. But remember, he's so awesome, he impresses everyone. Check your Discord DM. Do you want any? Want any what? That's some beautiful stuff you got there, Gelf. Some beautiful stuff. I'll have to, I'll talk to you in DMs, pal. I'll talk to you in DMs about it. Night mode setting is a good idea. It's a good idea. So I don't look like a Von Karstein or whatever. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh yeah. So I wanted to talk about this. GoFundMe has not gone away. This is the Vic Kicks Back GoFundMe. It is still here. We're edging really close to Lemoyne having a full-on orgasm when this reaches $280,000. And we've been edging for a long time. It is ready to explode across that $280,000 mark. So we're $279,450. Again, I haven't been talking much about this due to the pandemic and the slowdown in the case. But with that said, I wanted to make sure people know it was still there, and I will never end the GoFundMe campaign without, you know, at least some words about what's going on. So, there you go. Sorry, I've been drinking a lot of whiskey tonight. But it wasn't Lagavulin. And I just took a sip. And that smoky campfire goodness just comes right through. Comes right through. Designation 5. I can't make donations to the GoFundMe. I can't do it. So I would love to take you up on your offer of donating up to $500 and I'll match. But that has been... I've not taken any chances with this GoFundMe. I have never contributed to it other than all of the anonymous contributions that are all me, because GoFundMe has a rule against pumping your own campaign. So aside from the anonymous ones that GoFundMe definitely can't figure out who's donating, so they're all me. Aside from those, I haven't contributed. I would love to take you up on your offer but I cannot. I apologize. Okay. This is an opinion piece written by Gretchen Whitmer. Ms. Whitmer is the governor of Michigan. I have made gut-wrenching choices to keep people safe. Her guts are wrenched, y'all. Wrenched guts. The actions of Republican and Democrat governors have been done to protect families from the spread of coronavirus. Are your guts wrenched? You don't know how hard it is for her. She's taking a 10% pay cut. 10%. Empty streets where the Lodge Freeway enters and exits downtown Detroit. Empty streets. I mean, except for that car right there. Oh, hold on. Except for all these friggin' cars in the background. Look at these empty streets. Cars. They just waited for a red light. There's cars everywhere in this picture. Empty streets. Not really, though. Jesus. This is like just rows and rows. And this guy, blurry as hell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars on this side of the street. 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side of the street. Long shadows, so you're probably really early in the morning when people are before rush hour, I'm guessing. Something like that. Oh, just embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Okay, let's read Gretchen Whitmer's. This is in the New York Times. The New York Times is publishing the Michigan governor's gut-wrenching piece. Since the first positive coronavirus cases were discovered in the United States, governors across the country have made tough choices to protect their citizens. From the beginning, Democratic and Republican governors took action because the health and well-being of our families and our neighbors are our number one priority. Liar. You lying sack of trash. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I don't care. I don't care if this was the most Republican, libertarian person. Liar. Liar. When it comes to fighting the virus, we are all on the same team. Right now, mankind has a common enemy, and it's COVID-19. Governors have made gut-wrenching decisions in the face of a threat unlike any we've seen before. Not true. We have had to close school buildings for the rest of the academic year. You didn't have to. You chose to. It may be a good choice. I don't know. I think school buildings are garbage anyway. And I think that they need to basically be abolished in general. Just if you're going to make a daycare, make it a daycare and send the kids there who can't stay home, I guess. But and to direct, at least they got that right. Small business owners who have spent a lifetime building their businesses to close their doors. Yeah, you did direct them to do that. We've had to close restaurants. Why? Somebody tell me why you had to close a restaurant. Now, could you social distance in a restaurant? I think you could. Because I'm not rubbing nuts with other patrons at a restaurant. I'm 6 feet away from almost anybody all the time. Actually, at restaurants, I'm less often close to people than I would be at a Walmart or something. There's all sorts of things. So get your wait staff to wear masks and gloves. Sure. If you need to do, give the restaurants the choice. Just give the restaurants the choice. Can they implement the measures? This is the difference between tyranny and freedom, is that in freedom, you have to say, we really suggest you don't do this. If you're going to do this, here are the things you should do to do it. We really would advise against it. And then you let people make the choice. That's the difference. Movie theaters and barbershops to limit in-state travel. Now, and here's the other thing. Hypothetical, and I know this is very scary, but let's say those restaurants are like, actually, we can't. Someone said, my restaurant is too small. We can't do social distancing. Or if we did social distancing, the restaurant wouldn't be profitable. Then they get to make the choice, right? To shut it down. Then it's a choice. At least they have the option. Can we make this work? Can we do reduced staff? Can we make people cough into a breathalyzer or whatever? There are different options that they could take. And again, would it be unwise? Probably. Freedom is often unwise. That's the price of it. That's the price of it. But anyway, back to it. Movie theaters and barbershops and to limit in-state travel. I mean, I guess barbershops? I'm still at a loss on that one. I never imagined having to use the levers of my office this way to protect the people I serve. Lie. I hate this lie. Andy Bashir said the same thing. Here's some food for thought. Every single governor ever has imagined using the levers of their office in this way to protect people. If they haven't, they're not a good governor. If the governor of your state has not said, now, what's the nightmare scenario in which I have to take control of the people? Then they're lying. I don't care who you are. You have had this thought if you're going into being a mayor, a governor, some sort of executive level government position, because you have to. You probably have to have some sort of plan ready to go, and you've got an advisor who's likely asked you about it. What if we do have something crazy happen? Now, it's not like, what if we predict the coronavirus? No. What if there's an invasion? What if there's a massive salmonella outbreak in our town and we need to shut down everything? What if there's several active shooters running around in some city in the state? What if a bomb is dropped by North Korea? There's all sorts of what ifs. I hate this. Acting like they're victims of their position. Each action taken weighs heavily on me. Lie. Each action has been informed by the best science and epidemiology council there is. I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting really sick of hearing about this. Because, one, it isn't true. Two, Gretchen Whitmer is in no position to tell you that it's true. She doesn't know. She's not, and we don't expect her to be, an epidemiologist. So she's not qualified to determine if her counsel is wise or not. And you have differing opinions amongst epidemiologists. But here's the scary thing. And this is scary words for some people. I don't want the epidemiologist. I don't want assurances on the epidemiologist. Let's put it that way. I want assurances on the constitutional scholar that you're consulting. I want to review that guy's work, or woman's. I want to see what they think when you're making these decisions. I want to know about the legal questions that you've got. Because how you respond to the epidemic is one thing. How you respond within the framework of our Constitution is a real question. And that's what concerns me, and I think a lot of people out there. These choices have been tough. They haven't always been popular. That's because you're amongst the most repressive governors in the nation. You are amongst the worst actors. You are probably the worst actor. And let's see. Where are we? Oh, Michigan is hit pretty hard. I wasn't sure about where Michigan stood, but they're up there on the list. So at least they have some good reason. Maybe the Canadians invaded. Of course, I don't know if I can trust their number. They allegedly have 2,700 deaths even. It all depends on reporting. Because I don't know if you guys saw this, but a couple days ago, New York removed like 4,000 COVID deaths from its reporting. Oh, we were wrong, bro. They weren't actually COVID deaths. Sorry about that, mate. So I don't know about the Michigan ones. It's hard to say. Okay. And we will never know precisely how many lives were saved as a result. Oh, but you'll claim that you saved all of them, won't you, Gretchen? Won't you? Hundreds of thousands more would have died. Millions more would have died. Always. Always. Do you remember this? Look, if we hadn't taken the measures we took, a recession would have lasted even longer. More unemployment. Higher job losses. Lower revenue. More people on food stamps. It was due to the heroic efforts of my administration. And folks, we had the best economic counselors that are even out there. Best economists. Telling us exactly how to handle this. And we believe millions of more dollars would have been lost. Thousands of more people unemployed had we not taken the positions we took. Of course, government always justifies its actions by how much worse it would have been absent evidence to back any of it up. Any of it. It's sickening. And Trump did it too. You know, it's going to be 200,000. Would have been 2 million, but now 200,000. They're already claiming victory over things that they can't. America's families have made tough choices too. Oh, have we? You bitch. We've missed birthdays, weddings, and holidays we usually spend together. We're grieving the loss of our freedom. We should never be grieving the loss of our freedom so long as our current constitution is in effect. Never. The fact that she's acknowledging this openly without being put in a vat of tar and covered in feathers is the shame of our country right now. Loss of our freedom, our jobs, our businesses. It's not your jobs and businesses, is it? Is it? It's our jobs and businesses. It's not mine, by the way. My job and business is great. It is. I'm fine. But I have family members, I have friends, I have you guys out there who aren't in the same boat. Certainly not Gretchen Whitmer. What job is more secure than governor during pandemic? And in the worst case, a loved one. As a mom, I was really looking forward to my daughter's high school graduation ceremony. Oh, like you're not going to do it the second this thing is over? The second this thing is over, you're not going to throw her graduation party? Of course you are. You know who doesn't get to redo that? The actual poor. Actual poor people don't get to reschedule a party 5 months later. Because the actual poor people and their actual poor family members can't just reset their lives 5 months from now. They can't do it. But you're the governor ordering police to those birthday parties to break them up, right? Even when they're in people's own homes. We've also made sacrifices that have taken a toll on our mental health. People are lonely and frustrated and would give anything for life to return to normal. And it will, as long as we do our part. Would they give anything, Gretchen? Do you think maybe they'd give some of their security for life to turn back to normal? You think they'd give that up a little bit? I think a lot of people would. Rev Brother Jack Music says, can we sue the elected leaders for trashing the Constitution and Bill of Rights? Oh, those suits are coming. In Michigan, there are already moves to sue this chick out of existence in Michigan. But of course, they're going to sue her in her capacity as governor. So she's not going to be impacted other than just looking like a total bitch. How do we do that if the courts are closed? We have to wait till they reopen. Freedom of Information Act was ended according to Judicial Watch. Sounds like the Republic is done. Game over, man. Oh no, it'll definitely come back and you'll get all your freedoms back. Don't worry. West Nile Chen says, Nick, these policies may be an attempt to stem the rate of infection, such so a surge in cases requiring hospitalization do not exceed hospitals' capacity. With a legal obligation to accept ER cases, how do hospitals deal? I don't know. But wouldn't you want them to be focusing their efforts on supporting hospitals rather than focusing their efforts on breaking up birthday parties or ticketing people on beaches or at liquor stores or whatever? That's what I want. That's what I want them to do. Use the power of government positively rather than restrictively. Do it. And I maintain, and I'll use myself as an example. If the government gave private businesses guidelines, and those private businesses asked people to follow them, they largely would. And as evidence, I give you the fact that I don't go in the outdoor at Walmart. Nothing's physically preventing me from going in through the exit. Walmart didn't used to have an exit, but I do. Why? I don't go in through the exit. I go in through the entrance and I come out the exit. Why? Because they set up a thing and asked. That's literally it. And because if a business asks me to do something, I usually will. If business tells me I have to do something, then I'm like, hey, no, dick. And if government tells me I have to do something, I'm really, really hesitant. It's just, Anyway. Fulux, I am not wrong. The entire reason we have a pandemic is not because of that, buddy. Not at all. We didn't have... They did not work with business owners to do this. They didn't ask business owners to shut down. They didn't ask the businesses to implement social distancing in any appreciable amount of time before they shut it down. They waited. They had potentially bad information from the best epidemiologists ever, remember? Remember, they have the best epidemiologists ever, and they all waited too long, and then they shut it all down overnight. Within days of each other. So anyway, we've also made sacrifices that are, and it will, as long as we all do our part. Americans everywhere are eager to get back to normal. Trust me, we governors are too. Trust me are the two biggest giveaway words of a politician to do the opposite. Trust me. Why? Why would I trust you, especially when you ask me to? Never trust government when they say trust me. Huh. And as evidence for this, cops will say, trust me, I'm here to help out all the time. About an hour before they arrest you. We just want to talk about this thing. Trust us. Nope. Don't. Don't ever trust the government. If they have to ask, this is a tell. This is a governmental tell. But we need to get this right. That's why I'm partnering with Governors Mike DeWine of Ohio, Tony Evers of Wisconsin, Tim Walz of Minnesota. Thanks, Tim. J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, Eric Holcomb of Indiana, and Andy Beshear of Kentucky. Why that guy? On a plan to reopen the economy across the Great Lakes region. Similar efforts are being led by governors on the West and East Coast. Here in the Great Lakes region, we have called upon experts in healthcare, business, labor, and education to work on a data-driven approach to re-engaging our states in a responsible manner. And our governor, by the way, Tim Walz, has already yet again suggested that Minnesota is not opening back up until there's a vaccine. So just want to point that out. That's not a data-driven approach. He hasn't said that. He hasn't ordered it yet. He's referenced it a couple times now. Re-engaging our economies will be based on facts, science, and mitigating risk to public health. Nope. It just won't. I'm sorry, that's not true. It's not true. On both sides of the aisle, it's not true. Re-engaging the economies will be based on politics, 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 and nothing else. It just isn't true to say it'll be based on facts, science, and mitigating risk. Politics. Of course, politics. If it was anything else, we would be mad at them. Moving too soon or too fast could very likely lead to a second wave of COVID-19. This would be catastrophic for our families, our healthcare systems, and our businesses. Well, lock us down forever then. Just do that. We'll never know when COVID will come back. How can we? Facts and logic, right? Georgia's opening up. If Georgia opens up, how can Minnesota open up later and not trust that some Georgian will come to Minnesota? How do we know? How do we know? During the flu pandemic of 1918, some cities, notice the difference, lifted social distancing measures too fast and too soon, and caused a second wave of cases. As a result, many cities were forced back to a quarantine posture for an even longer period of time. Spanish flu didn't just disappear. We must be smart and take every precaution to avoid a second wave. You're getting a second wave. It's going to happen. We must work with other states, other regions, and the federal government to get this right. We must remember that the enemy is not one another. It is the coronavirus, a threat unconstrained by state lines or party registration. It's also an enemy that you can't really fight as an enemy. Re-engaging our economy won't happen all at once. It will happen gradually. Over time, people will go back to work. Restaurants will reopen. Will they? Those are two claims you can't actually make. Yeah, somebody will go back to work. Will you go back to work? Will your husband or wife go back to work? Or your kids go back to work? What about your uncle? What about someone who's 57 right now? Laid off. What do they get to go back to work to? I tell you what. You want to find someone in the biggest fear of their life? You find someone laid off after 55. You find someone laid off after 55 years old, and you tell them, oh, it's fine, bro. You can just get another job. And we will be able to spend time with our friends and loved ones. Here's the thing that I don't get. Why can't I spend time with my friends and loved ones now? Like, hypothetically, I'm not talking about a massive beach party or whatever those dummies did down in Florida. I get it, okay? But if I want to go and hang out with my in-laws and my wife's siblings and their families, and none of us have been sick, we've all been quarantined for weeks and weeks and weeks. Why can't I do that? Why is that illegal? Why don't I get to make the determinations to hang out with my friends and loved ones? Now, I'm not saying we go meet at some place, right? And spread germs all over, but in our own homes, like, we can't do that. How do you know that we haven't done what we need to do? The government doesn't get to choose when you have complied with your private interactions. And in fact, they largely can't do it. The speed with which this happens depends on us. We must be responsible and thoughtful. No, we must not. We must listen to government. That's what she means by we must be responsible and thoughtful. You must responsibly and thoughtfully listen to what the fuck we tell you and do it now, damn it. It's not being responsible and thoughtful. It's follow the fucking orders. And every word of this is a lie. And I just hate this. And we must understand the science and rely on the data when we make decisions. What science and data? Which set of science and data? Because there's science and data out there that suggested that the lockdown orders didn't have much of an effect at all. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not an epidemiologist. But how do you decide? How does Gretchen Whitmer decide which one's right? You're not an epidemiologist either. That's true both for leaders across the country and for people everywhere who must do their part by staying home and staying safe for these next couple of weeks. Is it going to be next couple of weeks? You think it's going to be a couple weeks? Or is it going to be a couple months? Maybe 6, maybe 12, who knows? Can't open too early. Might get a second wave. Might get a second wave. The actions governors from both sides of the aisle. It's not just me. It's not just me. And by the way, the actions governors from both sides of the aisle have taken have been very, very different. Very different actions on both sides of the aisle. They like to pretend that they are all the same. They're all in this together. They've been quite different. I liked how Texas was going for a while. Let the cities make the choice. That's what they did, by the way, in 1918. The cities shut down, not the states. And again, out here in BFE, Minnesota, it doesn't make much sense to shut down my county. It just doesn't. It does make sense to shut down the Twin Cities metro area. It does. It absolutely does. Doesn't make sense here. We don't have a lot of cases. Bob the Troll King says these restrictions feel like overbearing parents grounding their teenage kids for smoking after their 18th birthday. I'm with you, Nick. Smoking is bad, but it's my choice. The hard part of freedom. Adafos says, my stepdad's work just received a $500 million investment from another company, which puts them as a majority stockholder. They laid off over 1,500 people. He's over 55. It will be impossible to find another job. Jobs hire young. That's what I'm talking about. You tell the 55 plus people who are furloughed or laid off or their business shuts down that they'll be going back to work. Lie to them all you want. The actions both sides of the aisle have taken have saved lives and protected families from the spread of the virus, including leaders like Mr. DeWine, Laura Kelly in Kansas. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Laura Kelly is... the Kansas stuff is pretty bad. I don't remember. Let's see. Mr. DeWine. DeWine? Governor? Mike DeWine? That's governor of Ohio. Okay. Larry Hogan? I don't know who that is. Who are all these governors of other states? So she's making sure to mention Republicans here. Andrew Cuomo in New York and Gavin Newsom in California. Let's see. These governors and my colleagues in the Midwest have taken action to protect families, healthcare professionals, and critical workers like grocery and childcare workers. They've made tough choices because they knew keeping people safe was the right thing to do. I'm proud to be among their ranks. This is the most unpopular opinion I know. But we don't elect officials to do what's right. We elect officials to do what's right within the political framework that we have. Because what's right, by the way, is executing pedophiles on sight. Raped a kid, boom, dead. Gone. Gone. Annihilated. Ended. Life over. No redo. That's it. You had your chance and you lost. Sorry. We're no longer accepting quarters for a replay. That's the right thing to do. But we have this pesky thing called due process. And said pedo gets a chance to say, I'm actually not the pedo, or I didn't do the thing, or I didn't do it. And they get representation, and they get all sorts of protections to make sure that before we lock them up for the rest of their life, that they actually did the thing. But to protect children, that's not actually the right thing. Criminal defense attorneys are the wrong moral thing. Executions for everybody. There you go. That'll do it. Just instant, immediate public executions. Stole bread? Boom! No thieving. Gone. Hey, look, a job opening. That's... But the structure that we have protects the rights of people. We don't ask them to do the right thing. We make laws to try and ensure the right thing is done. We don't ask them to act outside of those laws to do the right things. It's been said, tough times don't last, but tough people do. We will get through this and defeat our common enemy together. We're not defeating COVID-19. We're going to defeat COVID like we defeated the last 18 strains of COVID. And we'll defeat COVID like we defeat the flu. We'll defeat COVID like we defeated every other thing. It'll just be a part of life. We'll mitigate it. It'll pass through the population enough where we develop a basic, a generalized resistance to it, and most people won't die when they get it. And that's that. It's a virus. We don't actually defeat many viruses at all. I'm joking about the 18 strains. I don't know how many there are. That's the COVID-19 joke. But there are several other strains of COVID. But that's the point is they exist. They already exist. You can get other types of COVID. It's possible to do so. It's a viral infection. You're gonna develop antibodies or develop a vaccine, and people will take it or they won't. Remember how we defeated like polio and tuberculosis, except now they're back because people stopped vaccinating against them and all sorts of other things. Some people just get it either way. We defeated chickenpox, even though you can still get chickenpox. You can get shingles even with a vaccine. Like that's all possible. It's just a part of it. It's a part of who we are. So we're not defeating it. It's going to hang around. And I know most people already don't die of the coof. We're not even getting into that argument. We're not even going to get into that. It's, all right, I gotta stop. Everybody hates when I talk about COVID. And the reason they hate it is because they equate my position on government policy to my position on the wisdom of COVID activity. No. Do not go rim job a bunch of random people on Miami Beach during an epidemic. Again, a governor shouldn't be able to stop you from doing that. That's your freedom. Freedom is the freedom to do the wrong thing. Anyway. Felipe Mube sent me a message. I almost missed it here. Nick, talking about real important stuff. What are your thoughts on Glenlivet? I like it. I like all of them that I've tried. But my favorite is the Glenlivet Nadura, the peaty one. I don't remember what that one's called. And I can't see my bottle of it from here to read it. Oloroso is the sherry cask one. Very good. But I can't... the peated one is better. Anyway. And he also says, question, a green card is for people is already in the USA. Well, what they're saying is when you come to the United States, you come on a visa, and some of those people coming in, their visa is one that is seeking permanent resident status. Okay, so they're seeking permanent resident status, which would then presumably allow them to move to citizenship. So you're not coming in on an employment visa, you're not coming in on a student visa, and you're not coming in on a visitor's visa. You're coming here to stay as a permanent resident, which would then be a path towards citizenship. And those visas are, depending on where you're from, are very hard to get. If you're in Mexico, if you're in India or China, those can be very, very long waiting lists. If you're from Ivory Coast or Tobago, those can be shorter waiting lists, because there's a really stupid Supreme Court decision that said that we have to give all of our annual visas out evenly dispersed amongst all of the countries of the world, regardless of immigration patterns and population sizes and densities. So Cote d'Ivoire has the same amount of visas available per year as India, despite the fact that India has 11 trillion more people than Cote d'Ivoire, for example. So in Mexico, right, which is a proximal neighbor, which would make more sense for an immigration pattern to give more visas to Mexico and Canada than it would to, Thailand. It just makes more sense that way. But, that's how we do it. Because of one Supreme Court decision that says that to do anything else is racist. So, Nova Zero says, proof you didn't do anything to mitigate against CCP virus. You're not invading China. What are you doing? Also, CCP virus has 3 variants with another 3 kinds seen within each. No invasion, no mitigation. Good luck all. There you go. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, I am going to read super chats. And again, to make things very clear on COVID, I know you think all of your neighbors are stupid people who won't follow orders, and some of them are. I know you think it. I get it. If you ask me what people should do, stay away from other people, do your self-quarantine, be very, very thorough, wash your hands, cough on your balls only, or whatever you need to do. Don't lick the carts at Walmart. All of that stuff. Yes. Correct. But government isn't empowered to tell us to do this. There's a big difference between what people should do and what government can tell you not to do. You shouldn't gamble. You shouldn't hire a prostitute in Nevada. It's not a good idea. You can get all sorts of weird stuff in there. Maybe you shouldn't smoke weed. I don't know. Don't drink caffeine. Don't drink sugar. Don't do it. Terrible for you. But we get to. Don't be a fat person who dies of heart disease. But we get to do that in droves. And if you think that just impacts the fat person who dies, that's not true. It impacts a whole lot of people, including their kids who have to try and lift their dead, rotting carcass out of a bed. Intimidator0108 says, good evening, Nick. Love the reaction of Ty and the others when you showed them the pic last week. Later today after work, plan on streaming Forza Horizon 4 on Twitch to try and get the Ty Beard Corvette its first win starting about 7 p.m. So there you go. All right, let's read these chats and then I will go on Twitch. Getting close to the end, I believe, of Doom Eternal. So if you want to come join me over there and make fun of just how bad I am at Doom Eternal, trying to beat it on Nightmare, come do so. And encourage me to beat it so I can go back to losing at Sekiro instead. All right, Bad Dragonite says, hey, Nick, just going to let you know there's a new 40K Humble Bundle for ebooks that went up today. $15 for a bunch of series starters. Hey, go check it out, guys. Richard Dangler says, sent me a link, outofshadows.org. I don't know what this is. Out of Shadows, the documentary, Ephesians 6:10 to 6:20. I have no idea. Here you go, guys. Here's Out of Shadows. No, I don't want that. I want this one. Out of Shadows. So, I don't know what that's about, but that you can check that out. Crusader Saracen says, do juries for civil cases also require unanimity in rendering the guilty verdict? No. If one juror isn't fully convinced that the defendants in the Vic case are guilty of TI and defamation, do they get off scot-free? No. Civil cases are not. See, the criminal cases, you have to prove guilt beyond any reasonable doubt. So therefore, if you have one juror, you presumptively have reasonable doubt, unless a juror is unreasonable. If they are, you retry it. In civil cases, it is not that. Typically, you just have to have more jurors, more than the other side. Chenghis Khan says, so apparently the weirdo Ray Gordon is some big-time chess player or something, and has a bunch of books on Amazon about people having sex. His YouTube channel has almost 3,000 subs, yet his videos get around 50 to 60 views, with likes and comments turned off. Oh, always turn them on, Ray. Night of OPEC says, with the autism of your Asperger's combined, I am Captain Retard. Captain Retard, he's the me too. Ray is gonna take you to the courtroom. He's dementia magnified and he's fighting on the Figget side. The spectrum is yours. Mostly mine, though. That's from Night of Hopex. I can't fix the neck beard until the quarantine ends. You want the neck beard gone? Talk to Governor Walz. Night of OPEC says, by the way, when he's talking about the cell phone video on his screen, I think he was trying to blackmail you. Like he's implying that he has a cell phone recording of you doing something embarrassing or criminal. Awesome. I wonder what it is. I hope so. And then Mercenary X says, can I skip something? No. Hypothetically, the only cut I would support is the one that involves a guillotine and someone's neck after they've been found guilty of high treason through a legal court process after incontrovertible evidence has been presented of treasonable violations. There you go. John Albert says, hey Nick, did you hear about the lawyer who is 3 feet tall suing a witness for laughing at her and singing hi-ho, it's off to work we go? I think I read that story a long time ago, but it just popped up recently. That's funny. That's funny. I think she's in a country like Australia or something, so she might actually have a chance. In America, it's just like, well, you got someone making fun of you, too bad. Keck7Go says, Carol Baskin murdered her ex-husband. Oh, yeah, I think so. I think I agree with that. I've watched now 2 episodes of Tiger King, and I am convinced that Carol Baskin is a horrific person. Absolutely terrible. Oh God, the worst kind of person. I'm not saying anybody else in the show is a saint. They all seem really, really crazy, and that's fine. But Carol Baskin is terrible. Keck7Go says, also shill your Patreon, you cooming coofer boomer. I did. Join the Patreon or the new project too. Lay EG says, trim the mustache, liberate the lips. No, that's the last thing to go. It's going to be here. Look at this. This bushy masterpiece is going to stay after quarantine. All this stuff is gone. Angry Baneling says, you were supposed to be late. Heck. No way. No one important says, just wanted your thoughts on Marky being BTFO'd by other YouTubers like The Quartering, commenting on how much of a garbage human being she is. Well, welcome to the party, pal. That chick's a dumpster. An oversized dumpster. Steven Alvarez says, hot mic incident, exposed California inflating numbers. Oh no. They wouldn't inflate numbers. They're just doing it to help you, remember? Oh, I also saw, didn't they expose, like someone hacked a bunch of accounts at like the WHO, the National Institute of Health and all that stuff? That'll be interesting. All those people are getting killed. MacGyverman87 says, help, I keep arguing with morons on both extremes of the corona apocalypse and YouTube chats to entertain myself. God help me, for I am doomed eternally. Yeah. It's dominating the news cycle. It's dominating everyone's minds, even mine. I drink bleach every day to try and get rid of thoughts of coronavirus. Because I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. But it's everywhere. Constantly. This is Dominus Ex Machina, or Domina Sex Machina, says, here, have $5 in Trump bucks and await your punishment at your terminal, you boomer heretic. That being said, have you heard about the movie Splash being censored? I did. And I saw her weird ass hair that they added. That was good. That was great. Keck7Go says, I think you're doing it wrong when you grill roux. Nope. I'm going to make a roux on the grill just to piss you off, Keck. Forever229 says, as much as I enjoy sitting around doing nothing and getting paid for it being a military member, I absolutely hate sitting around and doing nothing. Can't imagine how people who aren't getting paid feel. Scared. They're terrified. Trump bucks aren't enough. PG and White Knight says, forget a haircut, shave it all off, including your eyebrows. Why don't I just burn it off? Like Andy Worski, I'll just light my nipple hairs and then my eyebrows. Clysis S says, Rekieta, as a lawyer, what are your thoughts on the Second Amendment? The Second Amendment protects your rights to own anything. All of it. Battleships, nukes, satellite destruction systems, all of it. There's lots of restrictions on owning a nuke that have nothing to do with the Second Amendment or Supreme Court restrictions. It's really difficult to own that in general. And if you don't like that, change it. Just change it. Our Constitution was meant to be amended and changed a lot. A lot. One of the founders thought we would have basically an entirely new Constitution in 30 years. It was meant to change. If we're not supposed to have nukes because we come up with some cool new technology that says, oh yeah, this gun's maybe too destructive, amend it. How much opposition are you going to have to the 28th Amendment being amending the Second Amendment to say, but not nukes though, because for real? Nobody's going to be opposed to that. That's going to fly through both houses. But not nukes though. That's all it has to say. But not nukes. I mean, I'll be opposed, but most reasonable people won't. Korathis says, I join when Nick's saying, I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink it. Nick, why are you addressing Monica now? Moist John says, Tim Walls makes me miss Dayton. Yeah. Or does it make you into Miss Dayton? Watch out. Cover your ass. Anime Girl 2.0 says, so did this Ray guy just threaten to blackmail you with a video from 2014? That's what I'm reading. Rip to Ray. If so, good luck with that. Maybe that's what he did. I don't even know. I hope the video is good quality. PG and White Knight says, hashtag how to quickly lose before discovery. Luminaire says, Nick, you attract the strangest people. What can I say? Brotato, Nick, you doxed his dad's ghost lawyer friend. That's clearly an invasion of privacy. Tiny Kitsune 038 says, hey Nick, can you briefly explain how it is legal for states to require that you wear a mask? It isn't. It isn't legal. That's the problem. And even if it is, hypothetically, legal for them to say that you have to wear a mask, you protesting and not wearing a mask specifically to point out the illegality of the order or to contest the legality of the order is probably protected political speech as well. They can't do it. Mike M says, you try new Dr. Pepper cream soda? My new favorite. I have not. I will. That sounds good. I like Dr. Pepper. I like cream soda. It sounds great. KCDC East versus West says, two goddamn gentlemen. Watch for it. Okay. Richard Dangler says, ED article says that is a 30-year-old mugshot. Oh yeah, I'm the weird guy. Eyes of the Wolf 101 says, the hacker known as Nick Rekieta, I can't even lol. I can't even lol either. Yellow Jacket SA says, Ray and Montegraph should hang out. God, could you imagine the like internally seething autism war that would be going back and forth between them? Like hey Ray, I'm Montegraph. I sound like Dennis Hopper. Monty doesn't sound like Dennis Hopper. But and then Ray would be like, I trust you, Montegraph. And then they just stare at each other for a while and things would go back and forth between them. It'd be good. That'd be good. PGM White Knight says, this guy needs to sudo rm-rf/ his hard drive. Malik Foxon says, this guy obviously hasn't watched your streams. You a hacker? That's literally the opposite of true. If you're a hacker, I can probably empty a bank. Parrothead says, doobie doobie doo, beware the remotes. Andrew War Snowboard says, Gabriel Gonzaga KO'd Crow Cop 13 years ago today. Well, hopefully, Mirko Krokop came back and used morgue instead of hospital. Dominic Beasley says, you should get RGE on with Drex. It'd be interesting. I'll have to see who I can line up for the Drex show. Nolan Port says, just heard they're starting to release all the prisoners with prior violent crimes, including child beaters. And the best part, $0 bail. Seriously, government. Remember, you're quarantined to your house, but they won't quarantine them to a facility. Yukishiro Ray says, good morning. It has been a while. So some moolah for the wonderful Robin Williams cosplay. Any chance to hear your favorite impression of Robin Williams? Thanks for keeping us sane and entertained. It's not really an impression. It was just his... I loved his... The Drunk Scotsman Inventing Golf. That's just a great sketch that he did. And it has an accent, so I'm counting that. I love your sacred cow. Well, I also love the Frenchman giving a cigarette to a baby. We give cigarette to baby because we are French. Very funny. Good stuff. I love your sacred cow says, just what we needed, a pickup artist who is also a hypnotist. PGM White Knight says, are we sure T. Greg isn't his mother and father? No. I have no evidence to support that. Bad Vibe says, I would call Gretchen a few types of tool, but a wrench isn't one. Goof Troop says, just woke up off topic, but would you consider doing a video on Damien Eccles / the West Memphis 3? Maybe. I'm not familiar with it. Ethan Fletcher says, my Walmart bars entry unless you have a mask on. See? And they can do that. You want to have people wear masks? Do that. You want to come into our store? Mask up, bro. It's not your government doing it. It's really not. You don't have to go to Walmart. You can try and find another store. You could try and open another store. Black Dragon says, are you planning to invite RGE to the Drexel stream? You made him the offer last time he was on. I gotta see. I don't know yet. Andrew War Snowboard says, how do stay-at-home orders work in right-to-work states? The same way they work everywhere else. HD Fatty says, 18 COVID in the showers of Ram Ranch. Malik Foxon says, we'll defeat this common enemy together. The frick is this, an anime? We can win through the power of friendship, but you can't get closer than 6 feet. Rage DMX 47 says, time to restart the Holy Crusade against the government. It should never end. It should never end. Bad Vibe says, there is an evolutionary benefit too. It will thin out individuals with genetic disposition for heart disease. Polyfrog 64 says, fun fact, the bubonic plague is alive and well. Pestis grows stronger every year due to resistance to antibiotics. One day it will come back. Hopefully it'll come back before Mundane Matt does. Hatch 450SX says, Nick, you live in Michigan. No, Minnesota. Not in a population density of 55K people per square mile. Come to Jersey or New York and put your life on the line here. One, I would absolutely come to Jersey and New York and put my life on the line there. Two, I know. Shut down New York City. Shut down population dense places in New York. I know. That's not whole states. That's not my state based on your state. It doesn't make sense to shut down Minnesota because of what's happening in New York. Or New Jersey, or California. Can California honestly make a statewide order? It's 3/4 of the West Coast. It has different climates from desert to borderline tropical. How are you going to temper it to almost friggin' frigid? Like, how are you going to do this? It's different depending on where you are in California. LA is not all of California. Certainly not all of Northern California. Neither is San Francisco. Thank God. Most people don't want to step on that many needles. You can't. That's the point. And in 1918, cities shut down. Everybody's trying to draw parallels to what we did. Oh, we shut down everything during the Spanish flu. No, we didn't. Cities shut down. Individual cities with problems shut down. They did. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Like I said, I liked what Texas was doing. Governor Abbott said, we're not doing a statewide shutdown. And again, in Texas, you can't. Because if you've ever been through West Texas, it doesn't look like Houston. So Governor Abbott says to the mayors of the towns can shut them down if they need to. Of course that makes sense. Minnesota should be the same way. So should New York. Upstate New York is not the same as Manhattan. Determine where the problems are. Shut it down wisely. Maybe the whole state needs to shut down. Cool. All the municipal governments can get together and shut them down. Governors can issue guidelines. That's what local government is actually for. Your state governments aren't that local. They're just more local than the feds. Anyway, I agree with you. But yeah, if I could, I would go to New York right now. I don't care. Like, if it meant I could eat at a fucking restaurant, I would be there tomorrow. No, I'm not against all shutdowns, buddy. I'm against governors in general being mini tyrants. I am. And I'm against using data from other states that are vastly different from one another to determine what we should do. It just doesn't make sense. Especially the coasts have Atlanta, massive Delta hub, right? Atlanta, Georgia should maybe consider locking down. The airport should probably lock down and restrict international flights before we apply Georgia, or specifically Atlanta, Georgia, to Oklahoma. We should look at the impact that's going into Atlanta. That same thing isn't happening in Oklahoma. It's just not the same type of environment. So that's my point in all this. Attaboy, Hatch. I'm on your side too, buddy. Forever229 says, I beat the game on Nightmare. It only sucks for the first 3-ish hours. Talking about Doom? Probably. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Mr. Schwagen says, YouTube won't let me send a super chat about the thing for some reason, so please see my comment I tagged you in above. Oh, I don't think I can find it. No, it's long gone by now. Sorry, buddy. I can't find it. If you resend it, I'll look at it. Bad Vibe says, I believe immigration should be capped per year based on number of deaths minus births divided by 2. Okay. Kefka SWK says, unfortunately, a lot of people in this country would throw up the white flag and turn traitor if we got invaded tomorrow just for a chance at security. The government serves us. We do not serve it. I agree with you, buddy. Keld Walker says, Nikki can't cook roux, damn Booker bite me. Booker? Like Booker T? Kaz and Jazz says, Scotch question. Thoughts on Ardbeg and Lafroig? I like Ardbeg better than Lafroig. I like Ardbeg a lot. Of the smoky scotches, I still like Lagavulin the best. But man, I'd kill an Ardbeg 10, no problem. Lafroig is good. I need to have some of the Lafroig 10 is great. I need to have some of the smaller batches of Lafroig to try out. I haven't really explored it too much. Hatch 450SX says, Minnesota's still a fan though. Just disagree here. Well, I think we worked that out. I think we worked that out by clarifying the positions. And that's the thing. Can never, like, one, our communication back and forth is kind of limited, obviously. But we can't really communicate with this very well. And again, people from New York are going to disagree with me because you look out your window and people are dying. I look out my window and I see, like, trees. Right? So, of course, we're going to disagree on what should happen to each of us, respectively. Sharon Young says, whatever happened to personal responsibility? COVID restrictions are going to run afoul of hurricane prep and recommendations. Government needs to get out of the way and let people do what they need to. I think in Florida, at least, DeSantis is talking about opening back up in the next couple days, so we'll see. Whoops. Let's see. Okay, sorry. All right, almost done. Sharon Young, wait. RW Bimby says, Rackets, the Anon hacker, but struggles at MS Paint. Hey, my MS Paint jobs are works of art. Bad Vibe says, our government functions on cooperation. I will cooperate until government force takes my freedom, then I will no longer cooperate. Luke Wee says, hey, Nick, I enjoy you saying that Minnesota shouldn't shut down. I think we need that governor from South Dakota. She has bigger balls than most men. Certainly bigger than most Democrat governor men in Minnesota. Cars in Depth says, if most of the deaths were in flyover country, would New Yorkers tolerate being shut down? No, and I wouldn't either. I wouldn't tolerate New York being shut down if everybody was dying in Nebraska. That would be terrible. New York is we saw what happened after 9/11. New York is a big part of the economic engine of the country. Shutting it down should be carefully calculated. Mercenary X, hypothetically... Oh, wait, no. I read that one. All right. That's it. That's it, guys. Oh. Hey. Oh, there's that sweet, sweet outro. There it is. All right, guys. We are done for the evening. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to me rant and bitch and complain about government. Fruitlessly and effectively screaming into the void. That's fine. Again, if you are not on the Patreon or New Project 2 and you want to watch a Cooking with Rackets video, make sure you check it out. I just got my new grill hooked up, or I got my new grill. It's getting hooked up tomorrow. So we should have a grilling stream sometime real soon. And that should be a lot of fun. It's also a smoker, so I'm going to be doing some long cooks as well. Those could be some long streams with me outside hanging out or whatever. True SSJ Havoc says, hey, Nick, first super chat. Hey, thanks, buddy. I live in New Jersey. How long, in your opinion, will this shutdown last? I don't know, buddy. I hope it ends real soon. Because I hope that even the commies think that the death rate is down enough for us to end it. That's what I want. I want the death rate to go to the point where even the most hardcore totalitarian communist governor out there is like, well, we really got to open the states before they kill me. I want that. So, but we'll see. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Come hang out on Twitch. And we'll see you soon. Peace. Peace.
So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make